Hi, I'm Liv and welcome back to the Book Nook. Okay, let's do this. Big January haul part 2. Big January haul. Let's do this. I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as I can because there are quite a few books. I'm going to start with ones sent to me by publishers. First one is sent by Wood Books and it is Chancing the Light by Charles Montgomery. This is a poetry collection done by a local Devon poet, which was sent to me, and I am very intrigued. Local poets, nice. Then I was sent two by Fourth Estate. One of them is Women by Chloe Caldwell, which I have already taken upstairs, I think. Whoops, silly me. And then I was also sent The King is Always Above the People by Daniel Alarcon, which I've pronounced wrong, which I think I remember was on my books anticipated of the year. So this is a collection of short stories, and from what I can gather, a lot of them deal with the kind of Mexican-American border and the divide there, and very, very intrigued by this one. Then I got in touch with the lovely guys over at Canongate and asked if they'd send me a few books I wanted to read, and they said yes, and that was lovely and very nice of them. And the first is The Book of Joan by Lydia Yuknavitch, which you guys know is on my February TBR, and I'm very, very excited about this retelling of Joan of Arc by a writer that I haven't read, but I'm confident is going to become a favourite. They also sent me a copy of Sal by Mick Kitson, which is a really interesting sounding novel about two girls who run away from home in Scotland, and it is meant to be sort of beautifully set in Scotland, beautiful rural Scotland, and yeah, really, really intrigued by this one. Also a copy of Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo, which is one that everybody's been talking about since it was shortlisted for the Bailey's Prize last year, and I never got around to reading it. I'm going to this year, okay, thank you. And then finally from Canongate, another Scotland set novel. This one is The Valley at the Centre of the World by Marky Talak, and this is set in Shetland and deals with the nature of sort of remote island communities. I'm very, very, very looking forward to this one. Then the wonders that are William Heinemann offered me a copy of Florida by Lauren Graff, and how could I say no? So I didn't, and they sent me one, and I'm very happy. You guys know how much I loved Fates and Furies, at least I think you do. Probably maybe not as much as I think you do, because it was one that I loved and read and loved before I really started BookTube, but basically I loved Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff, so very, very selected. Excited about this short story collection. Somehow that all merged into the word selected, what do you know? Next up, the guys at Hodder sent me some lovely books. First one is A Taste of Blue Light by Lydia Ruffles, which I think I've actually got a hardback copy of. Ooh. And this is a young adult novel that has been billed as kind of if Sylvia Plath wrote young adult novels, that's what this would be like, so I am intrigued. They also sent me a copy of Trying by Emily Phillips, which is another one that was on my anticipated in 2018 list, and this is about a young couple trying for a baby when all their other friends are having babies, so very excited about that one. Incited? What is wrong with me? This is what happens when I try and go fast. Finally from Hodder, a book that I really am tremendously excited about. Even though I haven't yet read her collection of short stories, I'm really excited to read Sight by Jessie Greengrass. This may be one that I actually slip into my February TBR if I get that far. It's a gorgeous cover, another gorgeous, gorgeous design, and really excited about this one. Then the lovely guys at Serpent's Tail and Profile Books sent me some ones I requested. Judith Herman's Letty Park, which I'm really intrigued by. They're short stories that deal with the drama of chance encounters, which sounds like my kind of thing. And one that loads of people have been raving about, Ruby Tando's Eat Up. I am actually definitely going to pop this one on my February list, actually, now that I've thought about it. See, I'm revising my February TBR, and it's only, like, the beginning of February. Well done me. This is a book that deals essentially with the positivity of eating and food and sustenance, and why we should celebrate food, and I'm all about that. Then the lovely, lovely people at Grant who look after me very, very well, and I love them very much, sent me a copy of The Early King and the King Yellow, as you already know, from my last half of January wrap-up. And they also sent me a copy of Lisa Halliday's Asymmetry. This is another one that was on my 2018 anticipated list, and is a sort of novel of interconnecting lives, so very intrigued by that one. And they also sent me a copy of Census by Jessie Ball, which I am really excited about. This is one that I mentioned in my anticipated 2018 books, and it's about a father who's been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he has a son with Down syndrome. It's just the two of them, and they become census takers and embark on this journey, and it just sounds absolutely incredible. Phew! So those are the ones I've been sent. Now onto the ones I had no self-restraint and bought myself. First up, a few second-hand ones. These ones, well, I say they're second-hand ones, these are the ones where I peruse the WH Smith £1 clearance ones. And I found a copy of Gregory David Roberts' Shantaram, which is one I've not even taken the prize stickers off. Well done me. I'm just going to go with that now. This is another potential yob book. It's definitely a big one that I've never got around to reading, so when I saw there was a copy for £1, I thought, well, why the devil not? Also managed to get bargain copies of Slumberland by Paul Beattie and Tough by Paul Beattie. I did enjoy The Sellout. I think it was a very strange one, and I'm quite intrigued by Paul Beattie's other one, so I thought, yeah, again, cheap, £1, I'll give him a go. And then it was the day after Ursula Le Guin had died that I was looking at these books, and I actually found a copy of The Unreal and the Real. It's actually volume 2 of her selected stories, but that doesn't bother me. So yeah, I picked up a copy of that. Then I bought a few books when I went. I have a little look around Topsham Books, which is a lovely secondhand bookshop. Pop around there with my friend Annabelle, and I picked up a copy of Sarah Maitland's 3 Times Table, which is a really interesting looking one about 3 generations of the same family living in a house, and they all are so different because they're 3 generations, so I thought I would go for that. And I've never read any Sarah Maitland before either. Then I bought a copy of Ali Smith's The Accidental, because if I walk into a secondhand bookshop and there's an Ali Smith, of course I'm going to buy it and take it home with me. And then a copy of poetry, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher this. It's View with a Grain of Sand by Wisława Szymborska, maybe? Was that right? Hopefully. This is a poet that I've always meant to read, and I may already have a volume of her poems somewhere on my poetry shelf. But again, saw this one and I thought I would go for it. On to some new books, but keeping with poetry, a copy of one of the most exciting books of poetry that I've been waiting for so long, since it's been out in America, Calling a Wolf by Kaveh Akbar. Finally came in and I bought it, and I'm so excited. As I mentioned in my most anticipated, Kaveh Akbar is someone I followed on Twitter for a while, and he's a poet, and this collection has been published in America for about a year now, and I've just been dying every time he posts a snippet from it, and I'm just happy. Only annoying thing about buying this one is it's now February, and I can't read it until March, but I might anyway. Probably will. Then I picked up another Yob book that I didn't yet own, and this is one that I bought off the back of a trailer for the new series I think it's HBO are doing, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, and that is the Patrick Melrose novels. Now, this is one that I had always been on the fence about with Edward St. Aubyn. I thought, very male, very white middle class, upper middle class. Do I want to do it? And I have always been tempted and thought, right, I'm going to do this for Yob this year. And then when I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, Benedict Cumberbatch really bloody annoys me, but actually, this looks alright. So I thought I would pick up a copy of this now and pay attention to when we have an airing date for the series, because they haven't actually said when it's going to air yet, because I would like to read this one before watching that. Then I treated myself to a physical copy of a book that I have already read, absolutely adore, read it on Kindle a while ago, and for some reason this book and this movie have been coming up in conversation with a few guys at work recently, so I got myself a copy of Carol by Patricia Highsmith so that I own one. Then I picked up a copy of This Is Memorial Device by David Keenan. This is actually the Waterstones Scottish Book of the Month, and when it first came out a while ago I was really intrigued by it, and I thought, oh, sod it, why not? It's one that's about a sort of post-punk scene in Scotland, and it's meant to be sort of really inventively written, so it ticks a few boxes. Then I picked up a copy of a book that I have always meant to read for years and years and years, and I've been holding out and was always hoping I'd be able to buy a copy from Visual Editions, who are a gorgeous publisher, who do books that are sort of innovative ones. I've got a copy of Mark Supporter's Composition No. 1, and they publish really interesting editions of books, and they've done an edition of Tristram Shandy where bits of it are cut out, and basically it's not in print anymore, and if I wanted a copy I could get it somewhere else for like 200 quid, but I don't have that to spend on a book, so I got myself the Penguin English Library Classics version of The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy by Lawrence Stern, and what reminded me that I always wanted to get a copy of this was reading In the Days of Rain by Rebecca Stott, where she talks about this book, and it was one that her and her father read, so I thought, okay, doing it. Speaking of other books by writers I've always meant to read, I bought another Ursula Le Guin. I bought the Earthsea, the first 4 books, the Earthsea Chronicles. Again, this is one I've always meant to read. I may possibly make this a yob again throughout the year, because it is a bit of a chunk, so it's on really thin pages, but it's like 700 or 800 pages long, I think. So this was one I picked up again, just after she died. I thought, right, I'm going to buy it, and then at least I have it when I want to read it. Then after I'd filmed my vlog for the Waterstones channel about Ali Smith's Girl Meets Boy, I was in a haze of Ali Smith loving, so I picked up my copy of Ali Smith's Artful, which is a collection of fictions and essays. So I saw that one in work and I thought, okay. Then I got myself a collection of short stories, Temptation by Vaz Lemaine, published by Salt. This is one I've seen talked about a lot. It had passed me by before I was compiling my most anticipated of 2018, otherwise it probably would have been on there, so I picked up a copy of that. Then, penultimately, a non-fiction book by Bryony Doyle, Adult Fantasy, Searching for True Maturity in an Age of Mortgages, Marriages and Other Adult Milestones. This is a book sort of written in response to all the talk about sort of millennials and sort of the situation that people sort of my age group and sort of, you know, late 20s to 30s are sort of in. So really intrigued by this one. And Bryony Doyle is someone I've always wanted to read. I've been desperate to get hold of. I think it's This Island Will Sink, but it's only published in Australia so far. Then finally I bought myself a copy of British by Afua Hirsch. I was going to buy this anyway, and then I saw that horrific review that is not a review, that was just one man being a dick, and I thought, sorry, I'm gonna buy it the next day. This is Afua Hirsch's book on race, identity and belonging, and is a look at the everyday racism in British society. And yeah, I'm really, again, excited is the wrong word, but really, really intrigued by this one. I think it's a really important book, and that guy who wrote that review is just a dick and needs to go away. So there you have it. A lot of books in the last half of this month. Whoops! So yeah, there's a hell of a lot of books that I've acquired in the latter half of January. I need to slow down. As per the usual, have a little chat with me in the comments below about any of the books that I have hauled, any that you've got, any that you're intrigued by. I'm really sorry I rushed through them. I would have split this into 2 videos if I had not got behind in January with all of my videos, so sorry about that. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I shall see you in my next video. Not sure what that's going to be, haven't thought that far ahead, but I shall see you then. Thanks for watching, bye bye!